Good morning, Garden Geeks. Tracy here, Kent's Garden Guy, Summer Pick Farms. What is up? Well, it's another cloudy northeast Kansas day here, and which it's only like 52 degrees right now, and we've had sunny and 80s. We've got 3 days, I think. We got storms tonight, and I think we got 3 days of sun. So, kind of want to give you a couple updates today. We are going to plant lettuce starts. It's a perfect day. Being overcast like this, you can see the sun there. It's overcast here. This is a perfect day to get your starts out because you're gonna, when you pull those starts out of the pots or the trays or anything like that, you're gonna shock them because you're pulling them out of their home. Roots are gonna get a little bit tussled around. They're gonna go into shock and possibly could die. That could be one of the reasons if you have like they always say transplant shock. That's what it's from. So you always want to try to do it on a cloudy day like this. And if you have to do it on a clear day, you want to do it later towards the evening so it's got all night to kind of chill out before the extreme sun hits it in the morning. But I do want to show you a couple things we got accomplished this week from the last video you guys saw. We got the plastic put on 2 of the tunnels. So we still got a tunnel and a half to build. Let's say 2 tunnels to build, but we got 2 done. So let me just kind of show you. They're not 100% done yet. I still have to figure out a door situation for these tunnels. That Bootstrap Farmer kit that we have actually came with the door kits and all that stuff when we got that kit, so I didn't have to think about it. I could build a door out of wood. I've done it in the past. It's just a pain in the butt. The wood doesn't hold up and it swells. So my dad being a ex-professional welding instructor for 40 some years, I'm going to see if we can go get some metal. I'm going to kind of copycat the Bootstrap Farmer door, and then we're going to go to the like U-Cut metal place here that sells metal by the foot. I'm going to try to buy those things, and then we're going to try to build a couple doors, I think, on this tunnel. But you can see it's dried out a lot. Yeah, there's grass, but don't worry about that. It's dried out a lot in here from the last time I was in here when we had those rains. Just getting this plastic on here has helped keep the couple rainstorms we have had from coming in here and filling this up. You can see, that's our low spot that you saw in my last video, and it's starting to dry up now. It's going to take a couple days, so I'm going to roll up the sides on this. I'm going to kind of we've got a nice wind coming through here, about 10 miles an hour, so it will be able to dry this out, and hopefully here in the next 2 or 3 days, I'm going to be able to get in here with the rototiller and till all of this up and then cut all this grass up. Then I'm going to build my beds and then put my weed fabric down, and then we don't have to till in here no more. So like I said, guys, it's always good. You always want to do one initial tilling if you have to. Low till is where you want to be. You're going to have to do some type of tillage to get rid of some things. And like this, when we've had the excavator out here, everything gets packed. You've got to either broad fork it or do something. And I choose to use a tiller because that's what I have. I don't have a broad fork. I have a tiller. So that's what I'm going to use. But you can see everything looks good in this one. This is number 2. So yeah. So it is all complete. We're going to get our Edison bulbs put in here. We put Edison bulbs in all these tunnels. They're solar powered. So that way we can get like a little ambiance in here. I think it looks cool. Plus, I think it's cool at night when you see all the little wiggle worms with lights in it. I always think of what the airplanes think of when like they're flying over. They look out the window and they're like, what the heck is that? Down below. It looks like a bunch of lighted up wiggle worms. But we're not talking about this today because we're pretty much done until we get doors built. But what we are going to do is we are going to get some lettuce started. So let me get some starts. Okay, so what I am doing is we are going to get some Salanova planted in here. And the reason why we're putting Salanova in here is because it's like I said, you want to do your heat tolerant varieties and stuff. And we've got romaine in here right now that we're cutting out for a mix, and then we're going to move on from that. And romaine's really not a cut and come again. It will grow back, but it's really not made to be a cut and come again. So I want to put more Salanova in here. So we've got the tray here. So what we're doing is I'm just popping the plugs out. You can see when they're ready to come out, you can literally just pop them right out. So once again, we do it the same as we always do. I always do. You can do, a lot of people will tuck 4 in a row and they'll do some really tight spacing. I don't like to do that. I like to give them a lot of room to grow. So we're just going to, my emitters are every foot. I like to put it every foot. That's just how I do it. That's how I get the bigger heads to grow. And it gives me more spacing to do weeding and everything else. And what we did in here is when we had the, you can see this rootstock right here, all we do is I twist off the heads after we cut them, and I leave the roots in the ground as much as I can. Now, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. That's the nature of the beast. You want to do it as much as you can, because what that does is that leaves the roots in there to break down and let your microorganisms and all your good bugs and everything in the ground there have a little bit of food. The worms like it too as it rots down from getting watered and stuff. So let's see, like there's another one right there. So you want to leave the root ball as much as you can. Sometimes you can, sometimes you just can't. So don't lose sleep over it if you can't get all the root balls out. Just do what you can. And that's all, that's all anyone can ask for. So let's go ahead and get some of this in. And I have no rhyme or reason, no color choice when it comes to Salanova. I like kind of mixing it up because, you mix the colors up for your salad mix. That's why, salad mix is popular, because it's a little bit different. But enough of me talking and me getting the plant in here. But like I said, guys, I'm going to try to do this a little bit different with our videos. I'm going to try just to kind of show you an everyday today. It's kind of hard to come up with a topic every time to teach you guys something. You're just going to learn whatever you see during the day is what we're going to be doing. Just watch us get planting. And if you're wondering why that I'm wearing gloves and you're thinking to yourself right now, man, he must be a big sissy. No, not a sissy. As my wife would say, I'm pretty accident prone lately. As I've gotten older, I've been pretty accident prone. I never used to be. Well, maybe I was, and I just didn't care back then when you're young. But we had a pretty good rainstorm coming through, and I noticed that the chicken coop, their roost was came apart for whatever reason. I don't know if it was when I moved the coop that the roost broke and came apart or whatever. And I grabbed a piece of 1x4 about 2 feet long, and I was just gonna put a new roost thing and screw the roost up to it, the 2x4s that I have for the roost. And I was in a hurry because it was storming and lightning and thundering, and my wife was freaking out, and she was like, "Hey, you need to hurry, it's gonna get bad." And I kept telling her, I was like, "Hey, we need to get this done before the storm really hits us really hard." And so of course I grabbed the drill driver and grabbed the piece of wood that I was going to use, and you could probably already tell where this is going. I literally stuck my hand behind it. I know it sounds stupid. I literally stuck my hand behind it, stuck the drill driver, stuck the piece of wood, and I screwed the wood in really quick. Well, that 3-inch screw went into my finger and and was stuck. I literally screwed my hand to the back of the chicken coop, and I could not get my hand off because the screw went into my finger and pulled it tight up against there. So I had to reverse the drill, which I know it sounds crazy. Now that I think about it, I was like, it didn't even hurt at the time because I know I'm pulling that root ball out. It's got an air pocket, and I don't want an air pocket below, but anyway, at the time, all I could think of is my head. I sat there for a second, and I looked at my wife, and I told her what I did, and she didn't really say nothing. I don't think that she would think any less of me because of it. But anyway, all I could think about was I couldn't get my hand out because it, sucked it up against there. So the only thing I could do was put the drill in reverse and drive the screw back out of my hand. So that is what I did. And I tell you what, if you have ever, and that was a week ago now, it's been a week ago today, I think. Almost a week ago today. I didn't even know she was back there. Well, my wife has been listening. Apparently she was quiet and I didn't even know she snuck up on me. So good thing I wasn't saying nothing bad about her. But yeah, talk about the pain of doing that to begin with. And then also uh, having to reverse the drill to get the screw out of your hand. Yeah, that sucked. But got it out of there. Didn't freak out too much. I'm not much of a blood guy, so I was trying not to freak myself out. And so yeah, I got it out of there. So I am wearing these because I do not want to get the mud. It's been a week and it's kind of glazed over now. But I do not want to get mud from the garden packed inside of there. I've been doing everything I can to keep it clean. I'm a typical guy. You know, I'm 51 years old now. I don't go to the doctor. I probably should. My wife yells at me. She works at a doctor's office, and I still don't go to a doctor. So she yells at me all the time because I don't go in for tetanus shots. I haven't had it. I know I'm gonna be telling a bunch of bad stories here. I haven't had a tetanus shot in probably 30 years, and I've done everything from cut myself on barbed wire fences to screw my hand into chicken coops that has nasty chicken poop on it. I just clean everything out, and luckily I have a good immune system. I know it's not going to last forever, but luckily I have a good immune system that, knock on wood, wherever I can find some, that I don't get sick. So hopefully everything's good. My finger looks okay, and yeah, so we'll just kind of move on from that. But yeah, so that's what happened this week for me. Was I always tell myself when I use those things to be careful. I always think all the time, every time I use one, I always think, man, this would suck if you actually screwed your finger to like a piece of wood, like actually ran the screw all the way through your finger. Well, I'm here to tell you it does suck because that's what I did. So yeah, there's a true on-farm horror story for you. But looks like Kim's got the Salanova set out. So yeah, like we've got this. So we're just going to repopulate the beds where we get to cut this, and then to repopulate Salanova back into it. And when you do market farming, now you don't have to. You know, the first couple years, I didn't get high into this or nothing like that. But when you have a customer base, like either a market or, you know, some people that are counting on you to have product every week, you've got to think this through. So you've got to do what they call succession planting. And I'm sure all of you know what I'm talking about, succession planting. But if you haven't and you're new to market gardening, I mean, everybody's new. Somewhere down the line, nobody's born knowing how to do everything. So I'll tell my wife that I did, but she'll remind me pretty quick that I'm wrong. So, but you know, when you're doing this market gardening, you have to do a succession planting to keep things going. And that's what succession is. It's a succession of items. So, you know, sometimes, you know, you have to succeed some you don't. Like the romaine was something I tried new this year. So I think you got too many starts in here, Mom. But romaine was something new. So I only did the one tray to start the row just to see if I would like the romaine, which I like romaine. My wife doesn't. So, like I said before, I'm a big Caesar salad eater. She's not really. So she doesn't really care for the romaine as much as I do. She'll eat it if it's in the salad, but she doesn't really care for it as much. So I only did the one row, just sacrificed one row this year to try it out. And I think it's something we're going to go forward with. I think the romaine will be a good seller, especially when you sell like 3 hearts of romaine for, you know, $3 or $4 at the market or something like that, or to a customer or local grocery store or a diner or something that does salad mixes and stuff like that. But anyway, you want to make sure you have successions of things growing so you always have that item. You know, I mean, you always hear people do successions of sweet corn, you know, tomato succession. I don't do tomatoes because here in Kansas, we have not a big window, but we have a shorter window of growing, so we can't grow like 2 successions like you can in the South. So most people around here, we only do 1 round of tomatoes. And then when you get that round, you know, that's what you sell until up to freeze. But lettuces, cucumbers, squash, zucchini, green beans, stuff like that, you want to try to do a succession if you're selling a lot of that product. That way you can always have something every week to bring to market, which is always good because your customers, they kind of almost can compare yourself to like a grocery store as convenience wise. Is if they come to the market one week and you always have cucumbers, they always want cucumbers. So it's one of those things you want to try the best you can, if you've got the space and if you can afford the seed, to try to do succession plantings of everything you can, even if it's just one item. That way you can get your customers to get used to that item, and you always have a good customer base that way. We'll do one more row and then we will be done with this. We didn't have a lot to plant today. This is all we're going to do today besides some piddling around a little bit, and I think maybe we're going to go out and we usually try to do fun days on the weekends where we'll just kind of go to a different place, a different town close by, and just kind of drive around, look at things, check out old houses out in the country, stuff like that. I know it's kind of geeky. It's one of those things when you get older, it's like you want to be to dinner at 4 o'clock, you want to be to bed by 9, and you want to talk about history. So it's like one of those things. I think they should have a book out when you go to school about what's coming up in the ages. But I think that's where we're going to leave the video this week. We're going to go get cleaned up and maybe go run around and do some things. But guys, follow us at Facebook at Summer Pick Farms. That's if you're local, that's where we post all the items that we're going to be harvesting and what we're going to have for sale. All right, I will see you guys next week. See ya. Bye. All right, babe. I think we're good. Yeah, let's go ahead and plant some there before we leave. All right, that's good.